Are you looking for an experience that will grow your teenagers' faith, increase their leadership skills, and teach them the discernment to engage with the world all around them, all while taking them on the adventure of a lifetime? I mean, who isn't looking for that? If your teenager loves fun, adventure, and wants to grow in their faith and leadership this summer, then send them to Excel's Summer Leadership Camp. Excel's Summer Leadership Camp is a 12-day experience for passionate young leaders looking to discover God's truth, to discern wisely, and live wholeheartedly. Your teenager will embark on a transformative journey in the Blue Ridge Mountains, where they'll build lasting friendships in the context of community, embark on thrilling adventures like camping, rock climbing, whitewater rafting, and they will receive expert training and certifications in categories like CPR and wilderness first aid. Each aspect of the camp is woven together to help them learn to discover truth, to discern wisely, and take godly action in the context of real-life situations. To learn more or begin an application, go to theexcelcamp.org. That's theexcelcamp.org. Hurry, because summer is just around the corner.
Hello and welcome to the Reclamation Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Meltenberger, and today I wanted to introduce you to the idea of this podcast. So, I have been pastoring for about 8 years or so in various forms. I've been around the world with the Army Reserves. I've seen so many people do so many things. And the question I often come back to is, how do they do it all? How do they manage their life and their kids? And how do they manage their jobs and their faith? And so the Reclamation Podcast is designed to help busy people find good practices, rather reclaim good practices of faith and life. Helping busy people reclaim good practices of faith and life, because we can learn from each other. There's an opportunity out there for people to see what you're doing, what I'm doing, what someone else is doing. And so through the course of conversation, of insight, of working together and leaning on one another, I really believe we can grow together. Because I know, just like you know, that there's somebody out there doing it better than me, somebody out there doing it better than you. Let's find who those people are and talk to them. So most of my podcasts will be interview form, and I'd like to sit down with somebody for 30, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour, and talk to them about their life, talk to them about their practices, talk to them about their struggles. And I can tell you that this first interview that we have coming up this Friday is incredible. The interview I did with Pastor Dave Hood from Cornerstone Church is vulnerable, authentic, and it's full of a lot of real life stuff. So because I'm a pastor and I know so many pastors, many of my interviewees will be pastors, but not all. I really look forward to the opportunity to dive into business people and speakers and other people that are just doing life. I want to talk to parents about how they're managing with their families. So there's going to be an assortment of guests. There's going to be an assortment of people. And what we hope at the Reclamation Podcast is that you find a connection point to help you reclaim good practices of faith and life. Now, as always, the best way to stay connected is to subscribe to the podcast. We'd love it also if you could leave a review, share the podcast with your friends. You all know this, if you're a podcast listener, the algorithms work better when people share, review, and download your podcast. So thank you for taking the time for this little introduction, and I look forward to the opportunity where we get to hang together, learn from one another, and reclaim good practices of faith and life.